Hi guys. I'm not sure if you just heard that. This is John in Tucson. Good afternoon to you. I've put up a couple of videos about the monsoon season here in Arizona. This is my lovely prickly pear. Oh, beautiful birds everywhere. Aren't these power lines here just nasty? I hate that. I'm in an older core of the city, so most of the lines are above ground, unfortunately, but at least they only run through the alley. At any rate, this monsoon season has not really been very good at all. It started, a bit late, but unfortunately, we have only gotten maybe 1/5 of the amount of rain that we would normally get during the summer monsoon season. Those clouds, aren't they beautiful? Absolutely stunning. But you can see, I mean, even from the prickly pear cactus here, and of course the fruit that's falling on the ground, we had a really nice, abundant, rainy season, really from 4th of July of 2018 up until about middle of March of this year. So consequently, this cactus here, again, I live in Tucson, Arizona, in the Southwestern region of the United States, and normally you would not see this amount of purple fruit on a prickly pear cactus. But because of the abundance of rain throughout the winter season, and these cactus have enormous taproots, so they can get way down to where the water still exists and is still residing, even though the rain has not fallen for months. The cactus still has access to it. So consequently, we've got lots of fruit on this, but if you look at the rest of my yard, everything is, just nasty. It's so dried out from lack of rain. You can see, look at this barren soil here, and that again, that's an erosion problem because of this alleyway up here. It's a higher, well, I need to close this gate here. This alley is at a higher level than the rest of my yard. So consequently, when it rains here heavily during this time of the year especially, this alleyway, which runs north that way and south this way, and this ends in a drainage culvert, a large drainage culvert, because of flash flooding, and it drains it off very quickly. Well, all of the rain collects and comes in here and then runs down into my yard, and consequently it has removed 1.5 feet of soil, topsoil, from this yard. All of this, nice thunder, beautiful. This entire yard at one point, this was all grass. This whole lot was covered in grass and trees. But because of the erosion, I've lost all the topsoil. And so consequently, anything that's growing here at this point, it's all blown in on seed for the most part, with very rare exception. And I don't water these things. I just, I'm a firm believer in, number one, you've got to be sensitive to the nature of the region that you live in. Now, I've got this pool here. I live in Southwestern Arizona. Do I think this is a waste of water? Absolutely. We can't afford to waste water. We're in the bloody desert. But my folks put this in. I inherited the house, so consequently there it is. But this evaporates out about 500 gallons of water every 2 to 3 days. 500 gallons. That's a lot of water. And it's not because the pool's got cracks or anything in it. And this is a fiberglass pool, by the way. This is not a concrete or gunite pool. This is completely fiberglass. And the reason for that is because it takes almost no chemicals to keep it clean whatsoever. You just put a couple of little chlorine tablets in a little bobber and it does its thing. It's great. But, you know, again, getting back to why I brought you guys out here, this monsoon, if you can even call it that, has really been quite disappointing. I saw something in the paper today that my mother pointed out to me. She lives with me full time and I take care of her. Well, this was her home, so why shouldn't she be here? But yeah, the monsoon has just not been here this year. And because of her advanced age, she can't water, and she used to do that all the time. She was the one that installed this entire yard originally back in the 60s, you know, with the grass and the trees. And unfortunately, I can't do it because I get heat stroke very, very easily now because of a bad event I had a couple of years ago and because of having diabetes. So I consequently, I can't wander around and water everything. And this yard, to literally water everything in this yard here, and I'm just showing you a small portion right here. It's a 3/4 acre lot. It takes 2 full hours to literally water every single tree and bush and thing in this yard. Now the little treettes that you can kind of see growing here, these are native to this region. And I installed them specifically for that reason. I don't have to water them. They can survive just fine without me intervening. You know, unfortunately, you know, I've got things like a little tiny, actually you can see it right there, it's a little orange tree. That thing's like 5 years old. And the oranges are delicious. But that thing takes tons of water. I didn't put it in. And consequently, I'm just letting it go. Some people may think that's kind of sad, but that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to let it go. This yard, being in the Southwest desert, why would I install grass and put in a bunch of trees that take all kinds of water that we don't have? The Colorado is overused, it's overtapped. We have a lot of, what's it called? Subsidence in the ground here in Arizona because the groundwater is being pumped out at such an enormous rate to fill things like this fool thing up that we're beginning to see enormous cracks out on the desert floor. You know, 2-3 inch wide, you know, 2 to 3 foot wide cracks because of subsidence. And the ground is sinking because the groundwater is being sucked down, and naturally the soil on top is going to be falling into that new zone that's been opened up where the water used to be. Nice pool, but good grief. So anyway, guys, let's see if this doesn't develop into a nice afternoon thunderstorm, and it may do so. It's about 3:30, 4 p.m. here, and according to the weather app that I use, we're surrounded by thunderstorms, so we've got a good chance today simply because it's so hot, and it needs to get incredibly hot during the day with a touch of humidity above the 56 degree dew point level before you start seeing thunderstorms pop up. And that's what we're seeing today. So fingers crossed that all of these poor old natural things in this moonscape of a yard get some rain so they can be watered. It is what it is. Oh, and for those of you that are not familiar, this right here is an evaporative cooler. I don't have air conditioning on this house. I don't have central air conditioning on this house because I don't need to. And that's simply because of the region of the world that I live in. It is very, very arid here throughout the year for the most part. It's a bit more so during the winter season, but during the summer, as a rule of thumb, it's very, very dry. And this is such a simple idea, this evaporative cooler. This is it's just over 2,000 square foot house. It's a big house, very, very well insulated, double red brick and all that good stuff. And to run an air conditioner the size that it would take to cool off this entire house here would probably be, I'm going to say probably around a 4-ton unit, maybe 5-ton. That's a lot. And that sucks down so much electricity, it isn't even funny. This unit here is so simple. It's basically what you're seeing this right here on this end. There's an enormous pad. It's about 4 inches thick, and water drips down it. And then there's in here is what's a large, it's called a squirrel cage. And it's a big rotating fan, and it draws the air in through, let's see if I can do this properly. Draws the air in through this pad, which is wetted down, evaporates the water to a degree, and cools it down, and then draws it into the home. And consequently, because of that, with rare exception, really, that thing keeps the house not only cool, but cold sometimes, and is costing me about 1/5 the cost in energy because of it. And if it gets really nasty, I've got window units to put in, our individual bedrooms if we want it. So far, we haven't used those for 3 years. So, yeah. For you guys in the Southwest desert, you know what I'm talking about. Does air conditioning rule? Absolutely. Is it an energy hog? Yes. It takes lots of energy. But that's okay. If you got the cash to throw at it, go for it. I don't. This house is a money pit as it is simply because it's a house and they take money. So I'm keeping it inexpensive, I'm keeping it simple and effective, and that's what I've got there. So, one last look here, here, and here. And that's pretty much it, guys. I hope everyone's having a great day. Be kind to each other, more than anything. We don't all have to agree on the same things, but at least be kind to each other. That makes all the difference in the world. Hope everyone's having a great day, and if we get a storm out of this, I promise I will record it and put it up. Take care.